Chapter 109 Trivial Matters. Li Mansion, within a large hall. Li Shenji sat in the main seat, his right hand holding the tiger head of the tiger head chair, coldly looking at a Shenji battalion disciple across from him, listening to him recount everything. The rough coffin was placed in the large hall. Everyone stood respectfully. "Are you saying that Gu Hai killed Howren?" Li Shenji's eyes narrowed slightly as he said. Yes, that divine mechanism battalion disciple said stiffly. Ha 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 ha. Divine mechanism battalion. Ah, divine mechanism battalion. I gave it to Li Howren, and all that I taught out is a thing like you. How dare you lie to me even in front of me? Li Shenji said in a cold voice. I didn't. That Shenji camp disciple gritted his teeth and said, Uncle, it was Gu Hai who killed Big Brother. A man in Chinese clothes said helpfully from the side. The second son is right. Two more Shenji camp disciples chimed in. Li Howren smiled coldly and pointed. You, and you, men, drag them out for me, and behead them in the square. Yes. There was a crowd of subordinates walking over at once. Uncle, what are you doing? The second prince immediately exclaimed in shock. Family master, why are you killing me? Why are you killing me? The three people who were pulled back shrieked. However, Li Shenji had already ordered, and a group of subordinates immediately pulled the three out. Second prince, help! Second prince, help! The three people shouted in shock. The second duke was also stunned. Family master, I was wrong. It was the second duke who told me to say that. It was the second duke who told me to say that. Family master, spare my life. The three people who were pulled out screamed in terror. However, Li Shenji's order had been given, and the others didn't dare to plead for mercy at all. Chop! A loud shout came from outside the hall. Ah! Three miserable screams rang out, and the crowd in the great hall suddenly shuddered. Uncle, the second prince said with a burst of ugly face. Li Shenji twisted his head to look at him and faintly said, Tomorrow, drop everything at hand and go to the northern seashore, guard the island. The second duke's face turned ashen and wanted to beg for mercy, but a person on the side immediately pulled him, whispered, Second Duke, it's right that you took the heat for the Grand Duke. But you deceived the family lord. The family lord didn't punish you to death. It's already a gift. The second eunuch looked up, and sure enough, Li Shenji's eyes were filled with ice coldness. Frightened, he didn't dare to say more. Li Shenji coldly looked round at everyone in the great hall. All right, now, who is going to describe for me what exactly happened when Li Howren went to the Thousand Island Sea this time? Li Shenji said coldly. Next, the living Shenji camp disciple described everything in detail. This time, there wasn't a hint of partiality. Everything was in detail. Li Shenji listened quietly, his fingers gently tapping the armrests of the tiger chair, his eyes slightly narrowed. When everything was narrated, there was silence in the great hall, and everyone looked at Li Shenji. The black hand behind the curtain. Oh, Li Howren, you're really good at getting into trouble. Princess Xiaoyu actually died in your hands. Hair. A cold light flashed in Li Shenji's eyes. Slowly getting up, Li Shenji walked to the coffin. Clatter. The lid of the coffin opened, and gusts of cold air emerged from within, clearly used to preserve the corpse. Li Shenji took a closer look at Li Howren's corpse. The head had been blown up and gone, and the body was blood-stained, but the arms had turned into withered bones. Li Shenji slowly picked up a withered bone. A trace of gravity flashed in his eyes. The bone marrow has all been drawn clean. Li Shenji frowned. Family master, no matter what, Big Brother's death is related to Gu Hai, and second brother was also angry and confused earlier. Another man on the side called out, Gu Hai. Li Shenji's eyes narrowed slightly. Li Shenji receives the decree. A steeply shouted voice came from outside the great hall. The faces of the people in the great hall immediately changed. Li Shenji also quickly walked out of the great hall. Instead, He saw a man in official robes standing on top of a giant crane, looking outside the great hall. "My humble servant, Li Shenji, meet the angel. Long live your majesty." Li Shenji immediately bowed in respect. "Your majesty's oracle, within 3 months, Li Shenji will reorganize the Shenji battalion, awaiting the Holy Lord's command," the official on the giant crane solemnly said. "Yes, I accept the decree," Li Shenji said with a respectful salute. It was only at this moment that the official smiled. "Congratulations, Lord Li. Lord Li, in 3 months, please bring your Shenji battalion and head to the imperial capital to meet the saint. I will also take my leave." "Farewell, my lord," Li Shenji answered. Mink. The giant crane let out a long chirp and carried the official as he quickly flew up into the sky. "Family master, you're reinstated." "Family lord, as long as you give the order, your ministry will immediately rush back." "Family master, the saint has forgiven you." The crowd burst into great joy, as if they didn't even care much about Li Haren's death anymore. "Where is the divine opportunity order?" Li Shenji said indifferently. "It was taken by Gu Hai," a Shenji camp disciple solemnly said. "It's Gu Hai again. Heh, it seems like I have to meet this Gu Hai before going to the imperial capital." Li Shenji's eyes went cold as a cold light flashed through his eyes. Great Han Dynasty, Punching Heaven Palace. Gu Hai wore a flat heavenly crown on his head and a black dragon robe, sitting on top of the dragon chair, his cold eyes looking down on the 2 columns of officials. On the left column was Gu Qin with a group of old shopkeepers from the past, and on the right column stood newcomers such as Gao Xianzi, Chen Chongchen, Scarab, Meng Tai and so on. Snap! Gu Hai slapped the armrest of the dragon chair and coldly looked at the group of officials in the left column. The faces of the group of officials changed. The Great Han Dynasty has just been established for less than a month. Heh, there's actually news coming in that some people have started selling officials and titles. As long as you have money, you can buy an official. Gu Hai coldly looked at the crowd of officials. "Your Majesty, nowadays, the Great Han territory is too big. There are too many vacancies. Many positions need people. Although we have a large number of talents in reserve, but it's still not enough. All over the world. In order to run the administration as soon as possible. That's why we thought of this way. A way to run the administration in a short period of time. And also a way to increase the national treasury as soon as possible," an official said stiffly. "The ones who bought the officials are your own families, right? Oh, increase the treasury as soon as possible. The treasury needs you to increase it," Gu Hai said in a cold voice. A group of officials immediately dared not speak. "Father, after acquiring the Norse territory in a short period of time, the manpower is indeed a bit insufficient, and the administration of many places cannot function." Gu Qin sighed slightly and pleaded on behalf of a group of old bosses. "Unable to function? Then stop. Didn't I ask you to prepare for the imperial examinations? Use the imperial examinations to screen talents. Won't that be enough?" Gu Hai said in a deep voice. Gu Qin lowered his head. "Meng Tai," Gu Hai said in a deep voice. "I am here." Meng Tai stepped out. "It's been a month. How's the Jin Yue preparations going?" Gu Hai said in a deep voice. 3,000 people have been recruited, not quite an elite, but it can be slowly optimized, and the brocade guards can operate for the time being," Meng Tai said in a deep voice. "Good. I give you a 9 dragons order. A city-by-city thorough investigation. There are those who sell officials and sell titles. Those who are corrupt and accept bribes. Those who form a party. Those who cause trouble to the people. Punish them with the laws of the Great Han Dynasty. Wherever you go." The 9 dragons order, as if I am personally present, Gu Hai said in a deep voice, handing out a token. "I obey the decree." Meng Tai took the token, retreated back. The faces of a group of old ministers on the side stiffened with a slight sigh, but no one realized that a rain of blood was about to begin. "Scar, I am here," Scar respectfully stepped out. You were instructed to dispatch the troops and horses of each city and fully cooperate with the brocade guards in this operation, Gu Hai said in a deep voice. I obey, Scar answered. Now that the 9 and 5 islands, the other 5 mortal districts, how is the contact going? Gu Hai looked towards Gu Qin. Reporting to father, 3 of the mortal districts are negotiating extremely smoothly, but the other 2 are not, and have been holding their breath. Gu Qin frowned. Cheng Chonshan, I am here. You will lead the border troops in all areas and begin to excavate the mountain roads to open up all the mortal districts of the 9 and 5 islands. First, excavate the passages of those 2 regions that do not submit to my Great Han Imperial Dynasty. At the same time, you will preside over the matter of collecting the 3 districts that are willing to serve my Great Han. Gu Hai said in a deep voice. I obey the decree. Gao Xianzi, I am here. I need a batch of elite army, the world soldiers and horses, selected by you, the first batch of 800,000 elite army, expanding the first legion, trained by you. Just take these 2 mortal areas as the battlefield. I need an indestructible army. In this battle, the enemy has no innate person to participate. Your side shall not have one. I hope that in the future, the Great Han Dynasty will be strong only with strong generals, but also with a strong army, Gu Hai said in a deep voice. I obey, Gao Xianzi answered. One by one, the decrees were continuously approved through the court meeting. Gu Hai nowadays had a dictatorial approach, and no one questioned any of the orders. Your Majesty, Shangwen Scar seeks an audience, a guard said respectfully outside the hall. Oh, declare, Gu Hai said doubtfully. Shangwen Trace was unwilling to accept an official position in the Great Han Dynasty, and Gu Hai was helpless for a while. Seeking an audience during the court meeting at this moment. There must be something important. Shangwen Trace walked into the hall, and the 2 columns of ministers looked at them together in confusion. Your Majesty, Yao Zhengshan is here. Outside the hall. Seems to have bad news, Shangwen Trace solemnly said. Oh, Yao Zhengshan. Gu Hai revealed a hint of doubt. Yao Zhengshan, the very same Yao Zhengshan who asked Gu Hai to unlock the chess game on the turtle shell on his back and gifted Gu Hai with the essentials of the Heavenly Dynasty before the establishment of the Divine Beast Bosha, and promised Gu Hai that he would do his best to help out if he had any needs. For Yao Zhengshan, Gu Hai was still grateful. After all, although the essentials of the Celestial Dynasty might not be precious in the Divine Lands, but for Gu Hai, it was extremely necessary. Without putting on airs, Gu Hai stepped down from the dragon chair and slowly walked out of the hall with Shangwen Scar. The group of ministers followed behind Gu Hai. Outside the Grand Hall, Yao Zhengshan stood on top of the square and was currently smiling at Gu Hai. Congratulations to Mergu. No, congratulations to the Emperor of Great Han. The opening of the country and the establishment of the dynasty. Once it opens, it's an imperial dynasty, Yao Zhengshan said with a smile. Mer Yao is too kind. I don't know why Mr. Yao is here today, Gu Hai said doubtfully. Yao Zhengshan looked solemn and said, Last time when Mergu founded the country, I had something delayed and couldn't come. I hope Mr. Gu will forgive me. This time I came, but I brought a bad news. I hope it will be useful to Mergu. Oh, Gu Hai said doubtfully. In the past, Mr. Gu got the 100 longevity peach. The news spread. The 1,000 islands sea and 8 realm. Jindan realm countless cultivators came to hear the news. Now, Mr. Gu got the earth dragon vein. The lore of this thing is even more terrifying than the 100 longevity peach. Above the various islands, Yuanying realm island masters, patriarchs, monarchs can't help but sit up, are rushing to the 9 and 5 islands with all their might. I got the news a short while ago. There are 20 clans at Yuanying realm already allied, and they have been working together for a while. Infant realm have already formed an alliance, preparing to come together. To seize Mr. Gu's Earth Dragon vein, Yao Zhengshan said with a bitter smile, "Oh, 20 yuan Ying realms." Gu Hai's face sank. Just as Gu Hai finished speaking, Yao Zhengshan's face abruptly changed, revealing a wave of bitterness as he said, "It seems that I'm still too late. They're already here." However, he saw that far to the south, 20 long rainbows shot straight up, and wherever they went, a fierce wind was swept up. Boom! The 20 long rainbows suddenly stopped in front of the punching heavenly hall, and a great wind blew straight in all directions. Gu Hai raised his head and looked coldly at the 20 figures that suddenly appeared high in the sky.